Week 9 in the NFL was another weird one for the books. The Panthers are actually looking like a playoff team. JJ McCarthy actually came back and looked pretty good. And somehow, some way, the Steelers did it again. In today's video, we're going to talk about every single game that happened this week and talk about our key takeaways from each of them. If you're a fan, tell me how your team did this week. Thursday night football, the Baltimore Ravens traveled to Miami and they put a whooping on the Dolphins, winning the game 28-6. My key takeaway from this game is that Lamar Jackson is pretty good at football. In all seriousness, the Ravens defense has really stepped it up the last 3 weeks. They gave up an average of 35 points over the first 5 weeks of the season, and in the last 3 games, they've only given up an average of 13 points per game. They have really stepped it up because at the beginning of the season, a lot of people were calling them the worst defense in the league by far. If they can keep up the consistency on the defensive side of the ball while having Lamar Jackson back, they will definitely be making the playoffs. We didn't really learn anything about the Dolphins we didn't already know. They're going to be cleaning house at the end of this year. Mike McDaniel will be seeking employment with another team. I don't know what they're going to do about Tua and his contract. Tyreek Hill is probably gone from this team. This is just a disaster. Next up, the Denver Broncos traveled over to Houston, Texas to take on the Texans in a defensive masterclass where they won 18-15. Prayers up for CJ Stroud. He took a really nasty hit in this game and he will likely miss some time as he got a concussion. My key takeaway is both of these defenses are just as good as I thought they were. This was one of those low-scoring, grindy games where one team just goes down at the end and kicks a field goal. This feels really typical of Broncos where they have like these low-scoring defensive games and then Bo Nix drives them down the field. They kick a field goal, they win. If you love defense, this is the game for you. Next up, the Colts traveled to Pittsburgh and they left with an L as Pittsburgh wins this game 27-20. Finally, the Steelers defense has a game worthy of what I envisioned them to be going into this season. Their defensive line absolutely dominated that Colts offensive line, which has been really good all year. Jones was sacked 5 times with 3 turnovers, so that defense was hounding him all day. From the Colts side, this is just a story of too many turnovers. You won't win many games in this league with that amount of turnovers. Their offensive line just did not have a great game, which means their run game couldn't really get going. I honestly think they got away from the run game a bit too early, but I understand why they did it. Daniel Jones cannot throw the ball 50 times. You cannot have Daniel Jones with 50 pass attempts. That is absolutely insane. Turnovers is just, you can't have that many turnovers. I'm curious to see how the Colts bounce back after this loss. I believe the next game they have is against the Falcons, which is a team that is probably perfect for your bounce back as they are terrible against the run and you just let Jonathan Taylor run all over. In the next game, the 49ers travel to New York to take on Jackson Dart and the New York Giants, and they pulled away with a victory of 34-24. I think the 49ers are actually cursed. How do their players keep getting injured? They lose Mikael Williams probably for the rest of the year in this game. They are managing to win these games, but bro, they have so many injuries. It is honestly a miracle that they have the record that they have. This game went about how I expected. Honestly, the Giants just have way too many key injuries on the offensive side of the ball to compete with any team in a shootout. And if Christian McCaffrey has a great game, 9 times out of 10, the 49ers will pull out a W in that game. If you're a Giants fan, you are very happy with how scrappy your team looked. They didn't just come in here and just roll over. They played pretty well given the circumstances. At this point, you're just wanting to see more out of Jackson Dart. You want to see that team just develop. You want to try out some of those other rookies on the team. Just get them some time on the field, and hopefully everybody comes back healthy next season. This one hurt my spirit. The Atlanta Falcons travel to New England to face off against Drake May and the Patriots. In the game, they lose 23-24. In these videos, it's gonna seem like I'm always picking on the Falcons, that I'm harsher on the Falcons than every other team in the league, and that is because I am a Falcons fan. I constantly watch the Falcons. I live 30 minutes away from the stadium. I go watch the Falcons, so I get very upset when I see losses like this from the Atlanta Falcons. Before I slander the Falcons, let's talk about the Patriots. Even with Drake May getting sacked 5 times, you feel good about your offensive output as the Falcons have one of the best pass defenses in the league. In the second half, your offensive line was starting to get beat, but I think the Falcons have an underrated pass rush. Jalen Walker is really, really good at football. I don't understand why they don't play him more, but we'll talk about the Falcons when we get to the Falcons. The Patriots look good today. They came out with a W. They did what they were supposed to do. They played good. I think 2 plays in this game perfectly describe the Atlanta Falcons throughout this entire season. Parker Romo, the kicker for the Atlanta Falcons. Brother, your job, you have one singular job: to kick the football. You don't need to learn no plays. You don't need to learn no schemes. You don't need to learn how to read no opposing defense, no opposing offense. You just need to go out there and accurately kick the football. Now, I'm not saying kicking is easy. I think people honestly underrate how hard it is to kick a football. If you've ever tried to kick a football, it is not easy. And to do it accurately from distance is even more harder. So I respect kickers. However, you are a kicker in a professional football league, the best football league in the world. And you miss a PH, you didn't miss a 40-yarder. You didn't miss a 50-yarder. You didn't miss a 60-yarder. You missed a PAT. Now, this game could have been different. Could the Patriots have gone down and just kicked the field goal to win this game 27-24? Absolutely. I think defensively, the Falcons play a bit differently if it's 24-24. But that's whatever. You should not be missing PATs in the National Football League. Next play, I don't know who to blame for this play. I can blame Michael Penix for just throwing it into the ground, but the real issue is the center hiked the ball too early. Raheem Morris' answer to this really made me even more mad because he said somebody on the defensive side of the ball for the Patriots clapped. The center thought that was Michael Penix, and then he hiked the ball. Michael Penix, the line wasn't moving. Michael Penix has to throw the ball down because he's like, bro, nobody's moving. So I don't blame Penix for that entirely. However, Raheem Morris, bro, why are you doing clap signals in an away game? If Foxborough, of all places, on the very last drive, can you imagine how goddamn loud Foxborough is on the last drive? You cannot do clap signals in that situation. Chiefs travel to Buffalo, and Josh Allen sent their butts home with an L in a game the Bills win 28-21. I don't have much to say about this game. This is your stereotypical Bills versus Chiefs regular season game that for some reason I feel like the Bills always win in a regular season. Patrick Mahomes just didn't really have a good game. He didn't look that great. They didn't run the ball well either. I'm honestly shocked that they scored as many points as they scored in this game. I don't have much to say. I didn't really learn anything. Buffalo looks better because they had that rough stretch where people were like, oh man, it's Buffalo washed. They come in, they beat Kansas City, who's been playing pretty well. So I think they'll be fine. 2 teams that'll be fine. This is just one of them games between them two. Next up, the New Orleans Saints travel to Los Angeles to take on the Rams, and they lost that game 34-10. The Rams just look good on all sides of the ball. I am most impressed with how well their defense played in this game and has been playing. Jared Verse is an absolute monster, by the way. Matthew Stafford is a vampire at 37 years old. He looks like one of, if not the best quarterback in the league right now. Yes, I'm saying it. He looks that damn good. From the Saints' perspective, they started Tyler Show for the first time this week. I'm not moved either way by him right now. I know this is a draft pick that a lot of Saints fans aren't high on, and I'm personally not high on it myself, but let's see how he looks the next couple of games. This was a choice to start him versus the Rams defense, but I think he will get better. Do I think he's the quarterback of the future? Who knows? Maybe it is. I really like Tyler Show as a person. He seems like a great dude, so I hope he's really successful in the NFL. I hope he does well for the Saints, but who knows? Maybe in a couple of weeks, we're talking about how great he is, but only time will tell. Next up, the Jacksonville Jaguars defeated the Las Vegas Raiders in overtime by a score of 30-29. This overtime was very interesting to watch. Jacksonville goes downfield, they score a touchdown. Raiders also go downfield and score a touchdown, but instead of going for the PAT, they go for a 2-point conversion. I saw a lot of people slandering this decision online. I actually like the decision to go for 2. In the game, man, we ain't got time to be here all day. Geno Smith, unfortunately, if he just looks a bit to the right, he has Jacoby Myers open. He also has Tyler Lockett open in the back of the end zone. But I can't tell if he just threw the ball a bit behind. He didn't get enough oomph on the ball, but it just gets swatted down at the line. I really don't know what happened to Geno here. I really wish I could tell. It looks like he kind of throws it a bit behind, like at a bad angle, but also he probably should look to the right because he definitely had Jacoby Myers pretty open on that slant for a TD. Also, Brock Bowers looked great in this game. I'm sure they're happy to have him back. So, that's a highlight for the Raiders. Jacksonville side of the things, I just want to say, you guys have an amazing kicker, and you should appreciate him, because look at the Falcons. Next up, the Chargers travel to Tennessee to face the Titans in a game they won 27-20. I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch this game. No offense to the Titans, but I really just don't want to watch them play football. I watched one game from every team this season already. I don't need to see a second Titans game. I'm sure it was okay, I guess. I don't know. I didn't watch it. Next up, the Panthers went to Green Bay, and guess what? They won the game 16-13. As a Falcons fan, it hurts me to say this, but I am a Panthers believer. I am a football fan before I am a Falcons fan. And the Panthers have looked good this season. The Panthers have been flat out impressive this season. Here's the thing. When the Panthers lose, they're losing by a lot, right? They ain't losing close. They're losing by a lot. But they have found ways to win some of these games. And I'm just like, bro, what is happening? The thing about the Panthers that impressed me the most in this game, and one of the things I think are going pretty underrated by them, is the turnaround of their offensive line. 2 years ago, people considered the Carolina offensive line one of the worst in the league. And they came into this game and they said, y'all ain't sacking nothing. Y'all ain't getting back here. They have played some really good football. The Panthers are such a weird team because when they have losses, they're losing by a lot. But if you look at the Panthers' losses, they've only lost to really good teams. They lost to Buffalo. I think their only weird loss was against Arizona. I was like, whatever. But 3 out of 4 of their losses are against like really good teams. They have been playing underrated football. Now, my biggest concern with the Panthers is I don't think they can win those high-powered shootout games against some of the best offenses. I think that's where they'll struggle a bit. So I don't expect them to go out and win the Super Bowl, but I'm putting in a bid. I think the Carolina Panthers are going to sneak in and steal a wild card slot from somebody. This is a tough loss for the Packers. Not only did they lose this game, but they also lost Tucker Kraft for the rest of the season, and he has been playing incredible football, so prayers up to him. But this game reminded me of the Packers game where they had against the Browns, where they just weren't really getting anything on the offensive side of the ball, and they just lost a close defensive game. It literally is the same as that Browns game, if you go back and watch that game, where they just did not make enough plays on the offensive side of the ball. The defense basically gave you everything you could have possibly wanted. They only allowed 16 points, so offensively, you have to score more than 13. The Vikings traveled to Detroit, and they beat up on the Lions for a 27-24 win. I have to eat my words here. J.J. McCarthy came in this game, and he played extremely well. He looked a lot better than I thought he would, and that's on me. I think I have to remind myself that J.J. McCarthy is technically a rookie. And I think in media and in sports fandom that we judge rookie QBs in particular way too harsh when you don't get immediate results. Like, for example, coming in and expecting Cam Ward to immediately turn around the Titans is very unrealistic. So we have to give these QBs grace. We have to give them time to grow. JJ displayed in this game to me that he has the capabilities of being a franchise guy on this team. He still has a lot of things he can work on, but this game in particular, he looked really good. On the line side of things, their identity is running the football. If Montgomery and Gibbs do not have great games, they won't win. Don't get me wrong, I like Jared Goff, and he can definitely throw you to some wins, but the identity of this team is we are a great running team, but we can pass well when we need to. Yes, Jared Goff will give you those games where you're like, dang, Jared Goff is the best quarterback in the league. But also you have that two-head demon in the back where you can just hand the ball off. Montgomery and Gibbs just did not have a great game. Minnesota did a great job of neutralizing them, and this was the result. The Chicago Bears went into Cincinnati and they beat the Bengals 47-42. And where was the defense in this game? Non-existent. Cincinnati offense is really starting to get fed up with the defense. As you saw Jamar Chase being like one stop. You saw Chase Brown being like, we just got to get one damn stop. He's saying a bunch of cuss words, but I'm just paraphrasing. Defensively, you got to tackle, man. On that last play that the Bears ran offensively, where Caleb Williams threw to Lovecraft, the Bengals defender is there to tackle him, but instead of wrapping up, he goes in with the shoulder. I'm assuming trying to knock the ball out, but at that point, you can't risk that. You need to wrap up and just tackle him. That leads to a touchdown because Lovecraft bounces off him, spins off the other defender, and then nobody's there. That's just poor tackling on the defensive side of the ball for the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bears look great offensively, and they were able to win this game. But if you're a fan, you are really concerned about how your defense looked in this game. Joe Flacco is older than the logo, and bro had like 452 passing yards. That cannot happen, and you will not beat a lot of teams in the NFL by giving up that many points. And on Sunday Night Football, we had a Seattle Seahawks go into Washington and just completely dismantle them 38-14. I'm ready to say it's Seattle. I've been trying to tiptoe around because I ain't want nobody to attack me. But I'm ready to say it, and I can say it confidently. JSN is a top 3 wide receiver in the league right now. I could argue that he's number 2. Listen, I'm not going to argue if you got JJ and Chase 1 and 2. But if you ain't got JSN number 3, I just don't understand how you can say that after watching Seattle. I said this in my last video, but I think the Seahawks have one of the most underrated defensive units in the league. Their defense plays really good football. And when you have nights like this where your offense looks completely in sync, they are on fire. They can do damage to a lot of teams. They look good, bro. You know how you look at teams and you're like, oh man, like their record is good, but they're a pretender. Seattle looks good on every side of the football, bro. If you haven't had, I know a lot of people just look at records. They look at stats, but they don't watch these games, which is why I try to watch a game from every team during the season. Seattle, I've watched 3 or 4 games from Seattle, and they look so good. They are a contender. They are a contender, bro. They look good. On the opposite side of the ball, the Commanders just have been really disappointing for me this season. They are not the team I thought they were going to be. Dan Quinn, you cannot have Jaden Daniels in this game. This is why you sit QBs when you're getting blown out. There's literally zero reason why Jaden Daniels should have been in this game. Nah, he got injured. Prayers up to him. I hope he is doing well. I believe they say he had a dislocated elbow. I don't know how long that's going to keep them out. And I'm pretty sure he was out, was it a week or 2 ago where he just didn't play? So he's been injured and nicked up this season. Honestly, if I'm the Commanders, I'll let Jaden rest, bro. There's no reason for you to try to fight. Let's be honest. The odds of them making the playoffs are low. It's not 0. They still can make the playoffs. But clearly Jaden Daniels has been nicked up all season and he's fighting through it. He's coming back and he's just got nicked up again. Let bro rest. Start Mariota. Whatever happens with Mariota, you just kind of live by that. You start fresh next season. Hopefully everybody's back from injury, but clearly Jaden Daniels needs some rest, man. He just does. The final game at NFL Week 9, the Arizona Cardinals traveled over to Dallas and beat up on the Cowboys for a score of 27-17. Jacoby Brissett a better fit for the Arizona offense than Kyler Murray? Look, I'm not saying that Jacoby Brissett is better than Kyler Murray because I don't think he is. But I will say the games that Jacoby Brissett has started, that offense has looked a lot better than when Kyler Murray is back there. And if you're Arizona front office, you're looking at this and you're just kind of like, I don't know what's going on, but we're happy with it. Arizona looked great in this game. This is the best to me that offense has looked. Yes, I know the Cowboys defense really isn't that great. They ranked 31st in a lot of categories, but everybody looked good. Marvin Harrison had an amazing outing. This is, to me, the best he's looked all season. He looked great. The offense looked great. They just look good. On the Cowboys side of things, this is typically what you expect from the Cowboys if they can't score a lot of points. Offensively, they are great. But the problem comes with the Cowboys is if that offense does not have a great game, the defense cannot win them games. That defense is very bad, which is why in the trade deadline, they went and got some pieces because they just didn't look good. And that was week 9 in the NFL. Let me know what your favorite game this week was. Mine was probably the Bears-Bengals game, just how crazy it went. But let me know what yours is in the comment section below. And as always, everybody, enjoy football.